Okay, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners for Tuesday, March 25th, 2014. Good morning, everyone. My name is Langdon Neal. I'm chairman of the board. Seated to my left is Commissioner Marisol Hernandez. And to my right is usually Commissioner Richard Cowan, but he is ill again today. So wish him the best. First item on the agenda is a consideration of the agenda itself. Any additions, deletions, modifications? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the approval of the minutes. Regular board meeting of January 29th, 2014. Any additions, deletions?
Motion to approve?
I'll second that with the one correction that it is not Marisol Hernandez.
Oh, true.
Correct the commissioner's spelling of her name
Thank
other
you,
than that.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That'll be the order. I do pay attention. I do read them. I do, Joe. Okay. All right.
Sure you memorized.
We'll move on to the minutes for the March 11th, 2014 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez. I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order.
What number is it?
Sure.
Yes.
Huh? Okay, give me the number. This has? We're gonna call it right back.
Jim? We're gonna call Commissioner Cowan.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello,
Hi, Commissioner Cowan?
this is Jim.
Oh, no. We lost Commissioner Cowan. Okay, hold on, let's try it again. Was it 4709?
Yes.
Hello?
Commissioner Cowan,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm very well, and yourself?
Good, thank you. Hold on one second. Jim? Jim? Hello?
No, I'm here, yeah.
Oh, okay, we have Jim Allen and Commissioner Cowan on the conference call.
We have to
Okay, good morning.
motion to invite him to participate.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
No, if you made a request and you approved it.
Good morning. Hey, Commissioner, how you doing?
Well, I'll bet I have more muscles that are aching and sore than anybody in the room.
Probably.
These therapists know how to hurt you.
All right, well, glad you're with us, Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right, we are now moving to the organizational and special meeting. So, approval of the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, the minutes are before you. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez. I'll second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cowan. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That'll be
Aye.
the order. And lastly, we have minutes for March 18th, 2014, the minutes of the canvassing board. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion
So
to,
moved.
second?
Moved by Commissioner Cowan, seconded by Commissioner Hernandez. Further discussion, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. We'll now move to the Executive Director's Report. Mr. Goff.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, we just are still cleaning up from the primary election. Things seem to be going okay. Hopefully, within a week, we're gonna have a debriefing meeting with staff to see what went right and what went wrong. I know that Ms. Bateman and I have spoken, so did Mr. Scanlon. There are items that we're going to put into place for this upcoming general election. But as soon as we have our debriefing, I'll put those in writing and submit it to the board members.
Okay. Thank you. Just overall, congratulations to everyone, the management team here, as well as the staff on a difficult election with unveiling new technology and the general struggles we have in primary elections and split precincts and new ward boundaries, and a uninterested electorate, all kind of make it challenging for us. So, but I thought everything went remarkably well. Primaries are always they're always our hardest election. I don't know why that is, but it is. Maybe different ballot styles, I don't know what it is, but congratulations. I thought, all in all, not perfect, but pretty good.
Exactly. The staff, we're very proud again of the staff.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure one of the areas that will be considered in the debriefing is the judges and the PPAs.
Yes, they will be.
Were the problems this time measurably greater than in previous elections, or was this just a blip because of the ongoing winter and lack of a major contest that drew interest? And, you know, what kind of changes, if any, should be considered in what we do with PPAs, judges, the interaction between both? So, you know, I would like the report back in the future as to the thinking on that. I mean, maybe it was just a blip and a more difficult experience, or maybe there's some endemic problems here we need to consider.
Richard, it was all the above, believe it or not. We've had judges that resign because the ladies were used to doing it one way, and when they saw the e-poll book, some just said, you know, this is too much for me, and they resigned. Others embraced the e-poll book. So it's something that we have to look at. As Ms. Bateman and I and Audra spoke about it, and it's something that we will have a recommendation to the board members. Just to let the board know that we have 2 employees that for the first time, this is their first election. Audra did an excellent job in overseeing the judges and community services, and I'm very happy with Laurel in purchasing. This is her first election. She came to me and she says, just didn't realize how much there was going on. So I just want to thank them. They did an excellent job for this first election.
They did. Well, you're a seasoned veteran now. Okay. And I should say that we glossed over everything, but our voting equipment itself worked very well. Paige, really, you were in the background all day, which we love to see you, but that's a good thing, actually. So I think we really had very few actually equipment issues, I think, relative to previous elections. At least it came to my attention.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Ms. Bateman's going to give a report on the e-poll book.
Going to Ms. Bateman, our Assistant Executive Director, Ms. Bateman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I'd like to give all the reasons for why it didn't work, but it did. The short time frame that we had to implement it and a complete and full implementation, not a pilot, it went very well. Like Mr. Goff said, a lot of the judges, our trainers, were telling us they were embracing it at training. It worked.
That's great.
It really did, and you know, now we're seeing the reports afterwards, and they did a great job. You know, we've been looking through the applications for ballot. You know, and there were some issues with getting it up and running first thing in the morning, and they had to use the pre-printed.
Right.
But that's okay. You see that, you know, very few were used, and then right after that, they went right into using the e-poll book, and it worked very well.
Well, we talked about, shared some of my thoughts with both of you on, I call them tweaks. but, you know, for a citywide rollout, I thought it went remarkably well, really, really remarkably well.
I want to thank ESNS and their staff.
Yeah.
They were here, they were with us, they were, you know, helping us every step of the way. They were out in the field on election day, going, visiting polling places, you know, talking to judges, assisting judges where needed, so they did a great job.
Yeah, I echo those
Kelly, a
comments.
question. When do you envision that we don't have to use the redundant backup of the, you know, the paper and can go just with the e-poll books and save the cost of the printing?
I would definitely recommend for November and even quite possibly for the municipal elections in 2015.
That we still have that backup?
Yes,
Okay.
That's my
But then you're
recommendation.
looking at 2016 as maybe we can eliminate the paper.
that would be nice, yes.
Okay. Because it is, isn't it envisioned that at some point we can eliminate that and we'll be able to go just with the poll books and save, what is it, about $300,000 in printing costs?
No, it's
No.
only, I think the e-poll book was, I mean,
25 to 30?
yeah, 28,000 or something like that.
Right.
Oh, it's that small?
Yeah,
an
it's not,
expense?
we're not talking about a huge amount of money.
Okay, somehow I had the idea that it was more expensive than that.
No.
But yes, the whole idea is to someday go to just use the e-poll books and not have to use the pre-printed apps, and that will happen.
Okay. Thank you.
I also want to say the warehouse did a fantastic job,
Yes.
as always. They did a great job in getting all the equipment ready and getting the ESCs out. The ESCs are coming back now. And just all the staff, everyone just did a great job. I don't know why primaries are, I always say, I think it's because it's been a year and a half or, you know, well over a year since we had an election. But I think everyone did a great job. I had a conversation yesterday with Alderman O'Shea in 19. He agreed about the judges. I mean, they get their judges.
Yeah.
And they meet with them before election day. And he said the same thing, the fall off, the resignations. He said it was just, it was terrible.
Yeah. Well, we'll have some ideas there too. But the judge, congratulations, you did I thought DSNS did an excellent job. It was, you promised us it was gonna work and it did. So I thought you had a good debut, and we'll work together on what I call the tweaks. I don't know if you wanna say anything or?
We were pleased with the way it went as well. We also think there's room for improvement. We're excited about getting the audit data back and looking and refining those areas for improvement. As far as your people, you have an excellent staff here. You know, ESNS, we work with people all over the country, and from your administrative staff to the folks that took ownership of the product, to the warehouse people. You know, I think as commissioners, it's nice to know that you have people with such a can-do attitude and never say quit. I mean, they were great to work with.
Great, that feedback. Okay, Kelly?
Just one more, I do, like, as Mr. Buff said, Morale did a great job her first election. Audra did an incredible, because Audra really was Miss E-poll book.
Yes.
And she took on that role and in a short period of time, and she did a fantastic
I
job.
thought so too. I really thought so too. Okay, anything else, Ms. Bates? All righty. Mr. Allen, anything from you today?
No, I just want to echo many of Kelly's remarks. Audra did a fantastic job with the training and bringing that system online. And secondly, the feedback we've had from the judges who serve, they're looking forward to serving again, and they're looking forward to the morning uploads going more quickly, but they love the machinery.
Good.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Let's move to old business. Infrastructure projects. Well, that was one large infrastructural project that was
Yeah.
undertaken. it always looks good on paper, and then you actually have to implement it. It's much more of a challenge, but it's nice to tick off one of our goals, which is worthy of. We actually did a study, we did an evaluation, we did a procurement, we did a training, and then we did an implementation. Classic textbook rollout of a new technology, and it's when you look at the big picture, you realize how much has to get done to get from point A to point Z. So
Exactly.
I'm very, very pleased with that accomplishment. And then there's still more things that we want to do. So
We have some time to actually look and see
Yeah.
what went right, what went wrong. But
Yeah.
at the time, we were in the heat of the battle. I mean, we were basically in the election when we got the equipment.
Right.
so.
Well, we also have other infrastructure projects to achieve.
Yes,
so,
we do.
Why stop now?
Oh, yeah, let's go all the way.
Yeah, let's try it. Come on, let's do something new next election, right, Kelly?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything more on electronic poll books that we need to say?
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
one thing.
Yep.
I would like an idea from Kelly and certainly from ES&S. Are there other functionalities that we should be or could be looking at for the electronic poll books? Not saying that this is something we're going to do for November or even for next February or next year's elections, but down the road, are there other things that this electronic equipment can do that will help the election process?
Yeah, there's several items that we're looking into, like one is actually activating the cards for the E2P. So there are items that we are looking that we can maybe expand on for the electronic poll book.
And we are going to do a debriefing with ES&S within the next couple weeks. We all have our lists for what we'd like for November, and obviously those lists can grow to see what we want for the future, but we will absolutely do that.
All righty. We spoke about the voting equipment and how well that performed. Paige, do you want to say anything on the subject today?
I just want to say it's refreshing to be out of the spotlight this election.
Yeah, right, I'm sure.
And a huge thank you to board staff as well. The warehouse, again, top notch. They just did an excellent job, and we always appreciate being of service to the board. So
Great, thank you, Paige. Legislation, Mr. Scanlon, anything that we need to talk about today?
Mr. Chairman, there is one bill that's going to be up in committee tomorrow in the House, and this is a House Bill 55, and deals with schools as polling places. And the bill would strengthen some language in the statutes that already require school districts to make schools available as polling places. But it also encourages schools to use Election Day as either as a special holiday or as a Teacher Institute Day, so that children are not in the school. But emphasize, it encourages, doesn't require. I think ideally, the statute would require it, but I think that we've been told that that's not going to happen, so that this is a compromise measure that would encourage schools to use Election Day as a holiday or Teacher Institute Day. So we've been asked whether we would file a witness slip on behalf of that bill in committee for its hearing tomorrow. And if the board is agreeable, then we can certainly follow up and make sure that a witness slip is filed.
I would certainly agree.
I agree.
Commissioner Cowan?
Yes, I agree. And Jim, what happened to the bill that gives the schools the right to opt out?
Well, it's still alive. It hasn't been up for hearing yet, so hopefully it will stay in the background.
Okay. No, I would support taking a position in favor of the stronger language, but accepting and supporting this.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, thank you, Jim. All right, any new business to come before the board? Okay. Legal status report, Mr. Scanlon, anything you have today?
No, nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move to the financial report. We have two voucher listings to approve. City of Chicago, voucher number 14-03 dated March 25, 2014, in the amount of $753,136.06. $753,136.06.
Motion to approve?
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Cowan. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. We also have a voucher from the County of Cook pursuant to our 2014 appropriation, 14-04, dated March 25, 2014, in the amount of $955,752.57. $955,752.57.
Move approval.
Moved by Commissioner Cowan,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Hernandez. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That'll be the order. We'll move to the public comment section. Anything for us today? Okay, yes, sir.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Executive Director, Commissioner, staff, members of the public.
Good morning.
Darnell Macklin. I am the Sixth Ward Republican Committeeman, and
Welcome, Mr. Macklin.
I'd like to first commend the board for the well-run election, especially in light of the new technology that you guys unveiled.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, I do have a couple of concerns, well, actually four, two minor and two sort of,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna call them tweaks.
We're all, well, I like that. I like that. I like that. I'm always available for tweaks.
So the first one is, it's an issue with ballots being returned. I spoke with Jeff. I've had several people in my ward, actually relatives, who had their ballots returned, not once, but twice by the post office. In addition to the fact that there were several other people who had ballots returned. And I know that's not your issue, but it's a post office issue. And it's my understanding that it happened pretty much citywide. Second thing is, as I went around my polling sites, which I have 48 in my ward, and several of them I saw judges actually telling people not to take the nonpartisan ballot. And in many instances, handing them Democratic ballots. Just saying, hey, what's your name in? So that's another concern. I know that's an ongoing concern we always share anytime we have a primary election. The third thing is that at the nursing homes, I have 4 nursing homes in my ward that do the early vote day, where the residents get the absentee ballots. So as I went through the absentee ballot listing once or twice a week, I noticed that there were no Republican ballots taken at either 4 nursing homes. My judges called me from 2 of the nursing homes and said, hey, many of these people at these nursing homes aren't capable or competent to decide which party they want, nonetheless even signing. But you understand there were at least 3 or 4 people at these nursing homes who said they had asked for Republican ballots, according to my judges. And they said there were no ballots there, they were all Democrat ballots. So again, that's a concern. I'm not gonna accuse the nursing home of steering people to take Democratic ballots, but maybe that's a process that we can look at in terms of having a board employee or someone out there to sort of monitor the process, or having both parties out there to monitor the process, if not board employees.
Mr. Macklin, if I could just stop you. Do you know why those judges who were there didn't call the board?
They informed me that there was actually a board employee there monitoring.
We have an investigator out at every nursing home.
Yeah.
And he's taking notes of that information.
So I'm sure he has that on the record then.
Will you send us or communicate, so before you leave here today, those nursing homes, so we can
Actually, I don't have it with me, but I'll.
send it to us?
Yes, sir.
That'd be great.
And I did send Jeff an email.
Okay.
Those concerns with
Then
him.
Jeff has got it.
And Jeff is on top of that.
Yeah.
And he's been more than helpful and, respond very rapidly, and so, I'm very happy with Jeff. And then lastly, and again, I'm assuming this is something you guys can work and address. On the absentee ballots, at the bottom it says, the signature will be compared and must match your registration record. I think that's great. But I noticed that as we did challenges prior to the election, that, and this was done statewide by the state board as well as the Chicago board, people, on our petition signatures, we had, most people had sign your name and then print your name.
Mhm.
In many instances, on a couple of the challenges we had, persons printed where it said sign and they printed where it said print.
Mhm.
And at the state level, state board, and the Chicago board, those signatures were approved.
Mhm.
Not knowing if that person signed or not, because I can go in there and actually sign, print somebody's name. I can print your name. If they're gonna accept printed signatures, for instance, the signature, then who would ever know that they were the person or not? I can have, we can round table 25, 50 signatures here and put everybody's name down. And again, no one can say that that's your signature because they're accepting print.
But I thought the question was they just reversed printed where they were to sign and signed where they were to
They
print.
printed both instances. So both instances were printed signatures, and at the board level, when we did challenges, at the state level, those signatures were accepted, carte blanche across the board. Even with our challenges, when we did the review, they said that we're gonna accept those. And my concern is that there doesn't seem to be a consistency. If that's required for the absentee ballot to have a signature, why wouldn't we require that in a petition?
Yeah.
Which is much more, serious in terms of getting the person on the ballot. To just readily accept that printed signature, not a signature, but the person prints your name. I mean, that would,
No, I agree with you.
So
That's not our policy to accept
No.
printed signatures in that circumstances, Jim. Am I wrong?
In the electoral board forum, if the signature is printed on the petition, but signed in cursive on the voter registration record, the judges, the clerks, the record examiners, will usually sustain an objection to that signature.
In other words, not allowed.
Right, but the voter is allowed to come back and rehabilitate that signature if they sign an affidavit saying, yes, I signed or printed my signature on sheet 1, line 1, and that is my signature, even though it's printed, then in that case, we'll overrule the objection.
and again, having gone through 8 of these this last time out, 8 challenges, that didn't happen across the board. Printed signatures were just, they sign your name, cursor on the voter.
This is for absentee balloting you're
No,
talking
I'm
about.
talking about actually.
On the
at
petition?
Oh, you're talking about during our electoral board challenge?
Yes, so again, on the voter registration card, the person signed your name, they didn't print it.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Yeah,
printed
no, I'm with you on that. I thought you were talking about during the absentee voting.
No, on absentee voting, again, I know it said right there that you have to sign your name and wait on
Right.
the card.
But you're talking about during the petition challenges, one of the records examiners were not disallowing signatures.
Across the board, pretty much. I mean, the person signed their name, we actually went there and checked ahead of time to make sure we were on solid ground. Person had cursor in their name. And then when we challenged that name, because the person printed their signature, they printed their name twice. They printed where it says sign,
Yes.
and then where it says print, they printed also. So they have 2 printed, no signature, no cursor, but those were readily accepted, almost carte blanche across the board, at the state level, with the state board, and at the Chicago board.
Well,
Mr. Macklin, do you
yeah.
have a specific case that you can,
One case was my daughter. A gentleman named Triglet filed a challenge against Mark Eckhoff.
I'm
Two
sorry,
Republican challengers, Triglet versus Eckhoff.
Trigler?
Triglet, T-R-I-G-L-A-T-H, versus Eckhoff. And of course, I had a vested interest in that case.
Right.
That's all right. Your point, it doesn't make your point valid.
So I closely monitored it.
Yeah.
And
What office was that for?
that was at the state board, but that the signatures, because the district covers Will
Covered,
County,
yeah.
Kankakee County, and Cook County.
Okay,
Oh.
but do you have a case that was decided by the Chicago
Get it
board?
back with you. What
I see what he's saying, that these were actually heard by, because what office was she running for?
State board heard it, state rep.
Yeah.
So
State rep, more covering both jurisdictions?
Right,
But on
But
the
they-
Chicago board, we had cases where the districts,
Well, yeah, so they would come to us for the signature verification.
they don't come to us, they just go to the
They just go to
IVRS,
State.
Uh,
They don't
statewide-
even look at it here.
yeah, statewide voter
but
registration
there were
system.
I got you.
there were other cases, and I can't recall which cases there were, that because we had 8 of them that we filed challenges to, that were done by the city, because the district, the state representative district is wholly encompassed in the city.
Well, can you
So
Yeah,
like
get
second-
get us that
Second and
information.
sixth district, we had cases.
Well, yeah, I think we need that information,
Right,
and we could look
we can follow
into
the
it
trail.
and see what,
Okay.
if anything went wrong.
Because
Because other than that, I think
if
the
a
election-
Watchard filed an objection against our clerk, it would be noted on that, and it would
Right.
go to the handwriting expert. So I mean, these are the things that,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Usually it gets appealed and would go up the chain to the hearing officer and the board.
And the
So-
board, eventually the
But
board.
if
yeah.
you can supply us with specific case,
For the Chicago case.
for the Chicago
Yes,
case, we'd be
exactly.
glad to go back and
Yes.
look at it.
Okay,
And again, I'd like to commend the board for doing such a great job on this past election. I think if you guys could do half the job you do at this time in November, we will run an election again.
Thank you, Mr. Mackel.
Thank
Appreciate you
you.
coming and taking your time, giving us that feedback. It's very valuable to us. Okay, if there's nothing else to come before the board, I will accept a motion to adjourn till our next regular scheduled meeting, which will be April 8th.
you said,
Yes,
Yes.
April 8th.
That's the same day that the board will proclaim the results.
Proclaim,
of the
okay,
primary.
okay, so April 8th at 10, we'll say.
okay.
Okay?
Motion to adjourn?
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty, thank you for joining us, Commissioner.
Glad to. Thank you for taking the call.
We always take your calls.